Hello everybody, my name is Aud and welcome back to the Aud Narrations channel. Today we're reading a story titled 1 week ago I found out he cheated. As always, if you appreciate these videos and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button, that way you won't miss the latest upload. Alright, let's make a start. The post reads, "This will be long, but I have to get all the details out. Please stick with me. I, 34 female, found out my husband of 37 male, 7 years, cheated on a guy's trip. My husband developed a friendship with a guy at work. They started having lunch and hanging out. My husband is socially awkward and he prefers his childhood friends over meeting new people. He needs to meet new people because he's grown into a professional man of value, and his childhood friends are educationally, mentally, and as far as life goes, they're just stuck behind him. I don't mean they aren't good people, but you just can't drag people up with you. This guy from work invited my husband to Cartagena, Colombia, on a guy's trip. My husband was excited. He'd only been out of the country with me to the Bahamas, so he decided to go on this trip. I asked to meet the guy because I've only heard about him from conversations between me and my husband. During the planning, I found out he had ordered Laurel's latex STD prevention underwear. He ordered them to his office, not to our house, and I instantly became sick to my stomach. I confronted him about it, and he said he was watching porn one day, and the underwear were in a side ad. He said he ordered them, but didn't know if he actually intended to use them or not. We talked about what if I, the wife, was going on a trip and I had a box of band-aids in my luggage and you needed a band-aid and you open the box but it's actually condoms that I've hidden away. He understood, at least that's what he communicated. I told him I would leave him if he cheated on me. I've always said this. To be fair, already that's intention. Like, he's done. He booked a separate Airbnb away from 11 other guys to resist temptation and debauchery. In my head, that's him providing himself a cover. That's him getting his own private space to do those things. Anyway, I still let him go on the trip. He called me several times a day while there. He was communicative and spirited. When he came home, I gave him an STT test and he took it immediately, giving me the impression that he was on best married guy behavior. A few weeks later, we go out of time for a holiday break with our kids, and we have the best time. On December 29th to 30th, I went to the bathroom at 5:55 AM, and his phone was on the counter. I checked it, I went to the deleted files folder, and I found screenshots of WhatsApp. He invited 2 girls over at 3 in the morning one day. The girls sent photos to him and let him know that they were at his Airbnb. I woke him up and asked, "Did you cheat on me in Cartagena?" And he said, "Yes." I started cursing him out. I grabbed the car keys and I left. I drove to urgent care and waited for 2 hours until they opened so I could get an STD test. I texted him that I was filing for divorce, and when the courthouse opened on Christmas holiday, I told him to leave the house. A week later, and I'm faced with the decision to separate my family, our 2 small kids, and the only man I've loved in my adult life. He says he convinced himself that he could live out this fantasy and never have to discuss it. He also said the girls gave him head, he came really quickly, and they wanted more money to keep going, so that's all that happened. I am worthy, I am beautiful, I'm still young, and can move on. I'm struggling because this is my family. Help. OP, this wasn't like a spur-of-the-moment thing, this was premeditated and planned. 100%. The dude's a piece of shit. He thought he could get away with it and did it. Leave his ass. Let's see what the comments say. Someone's left a comment saying he planned to cheat. He knew he was going to do it before he even went in. It wasn't a mistake or a drunken hookup. It was pre-planned. He was aware before he went that you would leave if he cheated, and he still did it. He does not respect you or your family. He wasn't remorseful or filled with guilt. He didn't confess, and he wouldn't have ever told you, probably if you hadn't asked him. OP replied, "All of that. You're right. He didn't confess. I found out." Twist the knife even deeper. I said to him, "You've slept like a baby for weeks. You've laid in our bed, kissed me, have had sex with me. You are the devil. The devil does things like this." And he cried. Someone else replied saying, "He's crying for himself, not for you or your pain. Don't mistake the two. He's crying because now he's going to have to put his big boy pants on and get his own place and have to split time with his kids and tell his family and friends why you left him. Trust me, those tears are not for you or because he's sorry." Someone else replied to OP, quoting, "He says he convinced himself that he could live out this fantasy and never have to discuss it." And they write, "He was acting normal and had this planned out for a long time and always planned to come home, act normal, and never tell. He acted normal because his action didn't bother him. He only wants to rug sweep. You deserve better. His crying is regret for getting caught and what this will do to him, not remorse for what his betrayal has done to you." Someone else left a comment saying, "I'm so sorry this happened to you. The red flags were there even before he left, knowing and planning what he was going to do. The fact that he had to book a separate Airbnb speaks volumes. He knew what he was going to do and had planned on following through with it no matter what and didn't care about the consequences. This is unforgivable. He had no respect for you or marriage. He planned to cheat and went through with it. There's no coming back from that. Does he show any remorse at all?" OP replied saying, "And I 100% saw the red flags and recognized them as red flags. I agreed he could go because I don't own him. I guess I believed that he had integrity and discipline. Beyond a hard dick. Someone else replied, saying, that's exactly it. You're supposed to keep him from temptation. Never let him leave the house. Fuck that. You trust or you don't. If he's a cheater, there's hee-haw you can do about it. If he's a cheater, there's hee-haw you can do about it. I'm sorry that he is. OP replied, saying, yeah, I hate the thought of checking behind him like he's one of my kids. I didn't sign up for that. And they continue writing, everything you just wrote, I said to him. I told him he was fucked up, and he fucked our lives up. He's remorseful. He says, I'll do anything. I don't want to lose my family. I'm so sorry. I was weak. I have no integrity. I don't know how I let this happen. And he's cried. But we had couples therapy this past Thursday, and he cried. Seems depressed. I think he's genuinely hurting, but I want to focus on me. I'm such an empath, and I'm trying to turn off my worry for him. I want to focus on me and not fuck my kids up at the same time. 100% OP. 100%. He planned this out. Someone else left a comment saying, OP, you don't have to struggle with this. He should be doing the struggling for giving in to this deviant behavior and potentially risking your health, not to lose sight of the broken trust and destruction of the life you built. Your morals are in the right direction. No one should stand for this. Yeah, it hurts, breaks up your family and all, but you can still be good parents to your kids. Set the example of what should be followed by, or whereby you stand on your moral ground in the face of evil. You'll get past this and your life will grow. Keep your head up and live life to its fullest in the face of pain. I'm rooting for you and know with your personal standards you'll do well in life and shall pass. Good luck. OP replied saying, oh my god, thank you. I've received all this positivity. Someone else has left a comment saying, he prioritized himself and said, fuck his family for some head. Prioritize yourself and your kids and tell him to leave the house. He committed the sin. He leaves. No negotiation power. Let him know his new body caused his divorce, and you'll be letting people know what he did, why he did it, and who with. But you had to talk with him and he did it anyway. He doesn't respect you, your kids, or the relationship. I don't know if I agree with that statement that the friend is the one who caused the divorce. It's the guy who did. He caused his divorce. The friend was just the temptation, but anyway. OP replied, saying, he's left the house. The kids have questions about where dad is. He says his side of the bed stays made up. It's just sad around here. And yes, we had that fucking talk. And he did that shit any fucking way. Fuck him. Ah! Someone replied to OP, saying, tell the kids that dad made a really big mistake that hurt you a lot. It's hard for you to feel better when he's there because of the mistake he made. There's probably a better way to put it, but you get the gist. I'm going to assume that they're young, so they probably won't have a strong sense of infidelity, and explaining that until they get older. So try your best to explain it as a bad mistake that you can't forgive. It deeply hurt you. You never thought he could do something like this to everyone. I think I agree with that. Someone else has left a big comment saying, keep focusing on yourself and your kids. Keep putting you and your family first. If you question yourself, remember this. Knowing everything he can lose, he still made that choice. It definitely was more than just a head. Those girls he met, he paid. He chose to use your money for paid services. That was worth his family and risking it all. They quote, I told him I would leave him if he cheated. I've always said this. And they write, you told him this before he even left. Anytime you want to beat up on yourself for your decision, remember this. They quote a bunch of statements saying, he books a separate Airbnb away from 11 other guys to resist temptation and debauchery. Another quote is, they deleted files folder I found screenshots of WhatsApp. He invited 2 girls over at 3 AM in the morning one day. The girl sent photos to him to let him know that they were at his Airbnb. Did you cheat on me in Cartagena? And he said, yes. They quote again. He says he convinced himself that he could only live out this fantasy and never have to discuss it. He also said the girls gave him head and he came really quickly and they wanted more money to keep going, so that's all that happened. And they write, don't beat yourself up for your decision to put your family first. Keep focus on your... Don't feel like you broke up your family. This was a choice that he made to break up his family. Your kids will be okay. As a child of divorce, trust me, they can feel something is up. I'm sure they would rather see their parents happy being separate than miserable being together. And OP replied saying, 100% right. OP, I think you've definitely done the right thing there, getting the guy out of the house. He sounds like an absolute piece of shit. He's definitely tried to get away with it when he thought there'd be no consequences and stacked it. Right, what do you think OP should do? What would you have done in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss the latest upload. Alrighty, well, that's finished there for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.